Most men go through life believing that attraction is about chasing, convincing, or proving themselves to a woman. They spend years perfecting their appearance, accumulating wealth, or saying whatever they think a woman wants to hear. Yet, despite all their efforts, they often find themselves overlooked, disrespected, or relegated to the role of a mere option rather than a priority. The reason is simple: attraction is not won through external validation, it is commanded through self-mastery. A man who is centered in himself, who does not waver in the face of uncertainty, who does not bend his words to please, is a man who naturally draws others in. Women do not seek perfection, they seek presence. They are not drawn to a man who asks for permission to lead but to a man who embodies leadership effortlessly. In every interaction, your words carry weight. They either establish you as a man who knows his direction or expose you as a man unsure of his own path. The way you speak is not just communication, it is a reflection of your internal state. A man who hesitates, who fumbles over his words, who constantly defers decisions to others, reveals a lack of clarity in himself. A man who speaks with certainty, who does not second-guess his own intentions, who states his desires without apology, sends a message of strength that cannot be ignored. Attraction is not about manipulation, it is about alignment. When you are aligned with your own values, your own direction, and your own sense of self-worth, you naturally create an energy that pulls others toward you. You are not seeking approval because you already approve of yourself. You do not need to convince a woman of your worth because your actions and presence speak louder than any argument you could make. This is why words matter. Not just any words, but the right words, spoken with the right intention. 3 simple words, you and I, have the power to transform how you connect with a woman. Not because they are magic, but because they signal something deeper: a man who is decisive, a man who leads, a man who does not wait for life to happen to him but takes charge of his own path. Mastering your words is mastering your influence. And mastering your influence begins with mastering yourself. If you cannot speak with clarity, it is because you do not think with clarity. If you cannot state your intentions, it is because you have not yet committed to them yourself. This is where the work begins, not in learning clever lines, but in forging an unshakable foundation of confidence that makes every word you say resonate with power. Women, like all people, are drawn to certainty. When you speak as a man who does not question his own direction, you create a presence that cannot be ignored. That is the first step to genuine connection, not pursuing, not proving, but embodying. And once you learn how to do that, you will never chase again. The power of language: why words reveal strength or weakness. Words are more than mere sounds. They are the outward manifestation of a man's inner world. A man who speaks with hesitation, who constantly seeks approval, who dilutes his intentions with weak language, reveals an unsettled mind. He does not command respect because he does not respect himself enough to stand firm in his own voice. A man who speaks with certainty, who does not over-explain or beg for validation, sends an entirely different message, one of power, one of purpose, one that needs no justification. Language is a reflection of thought. If your thoughts are uncertain, your words will be uncertain. If your mind is filled with doubt, it will seep into your speech, into your tone, into the way you carry yourself. Every hesitation, every unnecessary explanation, every time you say, if you want, instead of stating what you intend, you signal weakness. Strength does not ask for permission. It does not seek reassurance. It simply is. A man who understands this wields language with precision. He knows that confidence is not about saying more but about saying less and meaning every word. When he speaks, he does so with authority, not because he demands attention, but because his words carry the weight of conviction. He does not hedge his statements with, maybe, I guess, or, if that's okay. He does not shrink his presence by adding, unless you prefer something else. He states, you and I should get dinner. Not as a plea, not as a question, but as a fact. The difference is subtle but undeniable. Women, like all people, respond to certainty. They are drawn to men who communicate their desires without hesitation, who make decisions without seeking approval, who do not talk themselves into irrelevance by over-explaining or justifying their every move. This does not mean arrogance. It does not mean disregarding the thoughts and feelings of others. It means standing firm in your own direction. A man who leads does not force, he does not manipulate, he simply moves with clarity, and others choose to follow. Many men fail because they believe attraction is about the right words when, in truth, it is about the man speaking them. You could memorize 1,000 perfect lines, but if your voice betrays insecurity, if your posture conveys hesitation, if your energy seeks validation rather than commands presence, no words will save you. Likewise, a man who speaks with certainty, who says little but means everything, can turn the simplest phrase into something magnetic. You and I, when spoken with confidence, is not just a statement, it is an invitation into a world where a man leads with strength, where he does not waver, where he knows who he is and where he is going. Language reveals who you are long before your actions do. If you struggle to command attention, to earn respect, to be heard in the way you want to be heard, do not look for better words, become a better man. Because when a man truly knows himself, his words naturally follow, carrying the weight of certainty that others cannot help but respect. The 3 words that change everything, you and I. There is a reason why 3 simple words, you and I, carry more power than 100 empty compliments or desperate attempts to impress. These words, when spoken with confidence, redefine the dynamic between a man and a woman. They do not ask for permission. They do not hesitate. They assume the connection already exists and frame the interaction as something inevitable. A man who says, you and I should have dinner, is not begging for her time, nor is he leaving space for doubt. He is leading, with the quiet confidence of someone who does not need to convince but simply states what is. These words change everything because they embody the fundamental truth of attraction, certainty. Women, like all people, respond to a man who knows what he wants. You and I is not just a phrase, it is a declaration. It sets the frame. It tells her, without arrogance but with certainty, that you are a man who moves with direction, not a man waiting for life to happen to him. And yet, these words are not about control, they are about clarity. They leave no space for weak indecision, no room for the hesitant, approval-seeking energy that so many men project. Consider the difference between saying, would you maybe want to hang out sometime, versus, you and I should grab a drink. The former is uncertain, fearful of rejection, and seeking validation before even beginning. The latter is confident, direct, and assumes success without desperation. One sounds like a plea. The other, an invitation. Women do not want to feel like they are making a choice between a strong man and a weak one. They want to feel like they have no choice at all, because the energy of certainty is irresistible. But this power does not come from the words alone. It comes from the man behind them. If spoken with hesitation, "you and I" becomes just another empty phrase. But when it is said with presence, with a voice that does not waver, with the calm assurance of someone who does not seek permission to lead, it changes the game. It shifts the dynamic from pursuit to inevitability, from doubt to certainty. Most men hesitate, unsure of how they are perceived, second-guessing themselves into irrelevance. But the man who understands the power of language knows that influence is not about having the right words, it is about having the right presence. "You and I" works because it is not a question, it is an expectation. It signals that you are a man who moves through life with conviction, and conviction is the foundation of attraction. When you speak, let there be no doubt. When you lead, let it feel natural. The world bends to men who move with purpose. And the moment you embrace that, the way women respond to you will never be the same. The Stoic Way: speak with purpose, act with integrity. A man's words are an extension of his character. The way he speaks, the way he carries himself, the way he engages with others, all of it reveals his inner world. A man who is uncertain in his speech is uncertain in his mind. A man who stumbles over his words, who hesitates, who seeks constant validation, is a man who has not yet mastered himself. But the man who speaks with clarity, with purpose, and without excess is a man who commands respect before he even demands it. This is the Stoic Way: speaking with intention, not to fill the silence, but to shape it. When a Stoic man speaks, every word carries weight. He does not waste time with meaningless flattery or desperate attempts to be liked. He does not bend his speech to fit what he thinks others want to hear. Instead, he speaks from a place of truth, knowing that influence is not about manipulation, but about presence. Women, and people in general, are drawn to men who mean what they say, who do not fumble their way through conversations looking for approval. The words of a man should be like his actions, deliberate, steady, and grounded in self-respect. But words alone are not enough. Integrity is the foundation that gives them power. A man can speak with confidence, but if his actions betray his words, he is nothing more than a performer, a weak man in a strong man's disguise. True influence is not built on words alone, but on the alignment of word and deed. When a man says, "You and I should do this," and then follows through without hesitation, he reinforces the strength behind his words. He does not overpromise. He does not seek to impress through exaggeration. Instead, he lets his consistency speak for itself. This is why so many men fail in both relationships and life. They talk too much, they explain too much, they promise too much, and then they deliver too little. They apologize for things that do not require apology. They over-explain when a simple answer would suffice. They try to soften their words out of fear of rejection, not realizing that the very act of doing so makes rejection inevitable. A Stoic man understands that his worth is not proven through excessive words, but through silent confidence, through steady action, through the unwavering alignment between what he says and what he does. There is a reason why the most respected men are often the ones who speak the least. Their presence alone is enough. They do not need to convince others of their value, it is self-evident. When they do speak, people listen, because their words are not wasted. This is the goal. To be a man whose speech is simple yet strong, whose words are never empty, whose actions make promises unnecessary. Speak with purpose, act with integrity, and the world will respond accordingly. The challenge: apply this today and transform how others see you. The difference between the man who commands respect and the man who is overlooked is not luck, nor is it external validation. It is action. It is the ability to take what is learned and apply it without hesitation. Knowledge without action is wasted potential, and the world does not reward potential, it rewards results. This is where most men fail. They absorb information, they agree with principles, they nod their heads in approval, yet they remain unchanged. They wait for the perfect moment, for the right circumstances, for permission to act. But a Stoic man does not wait. He decides. He applies. He refines himself through deliberate action, not passive consumption. The challenge before you is simple: apply what you have learned today. Start speaking with precision, with intent, with clarity. Use your words to lead, not to seek approval. The next time you interact with a woman, a colleague, or a stranger, resist the urge to soften your statements with unnecessary explanations. Say what you mean, then stop talking. Let your presence fill the space instead of your words. When you want to invite someone into your world, do not ask with hesitation. Say, "You and I should do this." Speak as if your words carry weight, because they do. Watch how people respond differently to you when you eliminate self-doubt from your speech. This is not about arrogance. It is not about imposing your will on others. It is about stepping fully into your own. A man who knows his own direction does not need permission to walk his path. He moves forward with quiet confidence, with an internal compass that does not sway based on how others react. The world respects the man who is decisive, who does not waver, who does not ask for approval before he acts. Start now. Set one goal for today: to speak with conviction, to cut away any words that stem from insecurity, to communicate with purpose. The next time you find yourself explaining, hesitating, or waiting for validation, stop. Redirect. Say less, but make it mean more. This is the first step to transforming how others see you, but more importantly, how you see yourself. The strongest influence comes not from seeking to impress, but from embodying the qualities that naturally draw others in. Do this, and you will not need to chase respect, it will come to you. A man's words are a reflection of his mind, his values, and his strength. How you speak shapes how others see you, but more importantly, it defines how you see yourself. The hesitant man, the man who fumbles over his words, who over-explains, who seeks permission before he asserts himself, he is ignored, overlooked, and forgotten. But the man who speaks with certainty, whose words are deliberate and measured, commands respect without demanding it. His presence alone shifts the energy in a room, not because he is loud, but because he is intentional. Mastering language is not about manipulation or empty rhetoric. It is about alignment, ensuring that your words, actions, and values are one and the same. A leader does not beg to be followed. He moves with conviction, and others naturally gravitate toward him. A high-value man does not wait for validation. He speaks his truth, not to impress, but because it is his nature to do so. When you remove hesitation from your words, you remove hesitation from your life. This is not just about communication, it is about how you carry yourself in every aspect of life. If you allow doubt to creep into your speech, it will infiltrate your decisions, your relationships, and your purpose. But when you practice speaking with confidence, when you say, "You and I will do this," instead of, "Would you like to?" you are training yourself to take ownership of your world. The way you speak and the way you lead are one and the same. If you are still waiting to become the man you envision, understand this: no one is coming to grant you permission. There will be no perfect moment. You must choose to act, to refine yourself, to embody strength in both speech and action. Speak with clarity. Move with purpose. Own your words, own your presence, and own your life. Do this, and leadership will no longer be something you chase, it will be something you are. If you found value in this, commit to action. Use these principles in your daily life. Drop a comment below: how will you use "you and I" today? Subscribe to Ultimate Stoicism and become part of a movement where men speak with certainty, act with purpose, and command respect.